How do you treat goblins in your settings?
For breeding purposes, of course.
Only.
But no, let's get into this, will we?
Are goblins small and weak? To what degree? Are they dumb? Are they set in the Stone Age in terms of tech? Or just look primitive when compared to the other races? Are all of them evil and violent, etc.? Or are some good? How do goblins compare to other somewhat similar races like orcs? How is their internal organisation? Are they sort of a hive where most goblins are just drones serving their ruler? Or do individual goblins have personal agency? Would you allow a player to make a goblin PC? Etc.?
Like, you guys know what we're like with goblins. Goblins to me are one of the... They're definitely on the wacky spectrum, let's just say.
Goblins to me remind me of the people of Northern Ireland.
Yeah, I think so, honestly.
I think I personally identify better with goblins than any other races because, let's just say, I am a fucking goblina. So.
Yeah, that's what I feel like an awful lot of the time, if I be straight up with you. I do feel like that. Honestly, you guys should watch videos of the 12 from Northern Ireland and just play Spot the Goblin.
Yeah. Honest to God.
It's great fun.
We went out for a walk yesterday with Ozzy and it was literally Spot the not goblin.
Yeah, it really was. But no, for me personally, of course, when it comes to goblins, I love, I love the wickedness, I love the cruelty, I love the way you can do anything with them.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people just use them for comic relief, and they are great for comic relief, because you can do anything to them. If you want to sit and crush goblin skulls in all day,
but that's
no one's
the
ever
best
going to
thing
question
about goblins, though.
What?
You can do anything with them.
And no one has any sympathy for them.
Yeah, but you can also play them anyway.
Yeah.
I think a goblin with a really good backstory could make for a really good player.
Well, I love playing as a goblin. I think they're so much fun, even if everyone dabs on you all the time.
Yeah.
But it's still enjoyable. But look, that's enough of us. Let's just get into the thread and see what other people are saying.
I make rough and painful fornication with them. I make rough and loving fornication with them.
Well... I mean, look, we knew that's what a lot of people were into. When did the whole goblin fetish kick off? When did goblins become more shit and when did goblins get fucking dump truck assholes? Just saying.
Yeah, when did
that start?
Fat asses?
When did they get fat asses and big old titties? I don't know. Whenever female goblins even became a thing, because
bitches walking about 3 foot tall Kim Kardashians here with fucking asses. That's what they're like.
That's what it is, though. Let's be serious. I don't get, this is one of the things as well. Do goblins count into the whole freak shit territory? Normally, freak shit is reserved for furries, where it's
anthropomorphic.
Yeah. Normally, it's reserved for that. Whereas goblins really are just little green, sexy women. They're either reserved for little green, sexy women or little scumbags.
Yeah.
Little fucking tiny little cocksuckers that you just need to fucking batter.
Yeah.
That are just going to steal your shinies.
Yeah.
That's
and the girls are just going to steal your cocks. Basically,
give me your fucking shoes.
My goblins are small and weak at first. I stopped using them after level 5. But at level 15 they return, using tactics, using strength, and after hitting the gym.
I hate to use a reference, but I can't help but imagine Wee Man from Jackass.
30 HP, lowest stats charisma at 12, multi-attack, magic weapons, and leadership. Each squad of 10 is led by a goblin boss. Every 10 goblin bosses is led by a goblin king. They have tactics usable each one per fight, as bonus action by the boss. Such as, all goblins get to make an immediate attack at the goblin boss's target, ignoring attacks of opportunity. All goblins gain +2 AC and +2 to hit for 2 rounds as the boss inspires them. And my personal favourite?
Fuck it, I'm keeping that in, Megan, I'm sorry to say.
The boss calls for Plan B. All goblins drop their weapons and light a fuse. Next round, each goblin explodes for 68 damage in a 20-foot radius, and the boss escapes combat at the rate of 80 foot. If a Goblin King orders the bosses to explode, it's 12d10 instead.
I actually love that idea.
That's quite good.
I really like this.
I call them Gremlings, and they give special skills. +10 to hide, +20 to disguise as an inanimate object. They also enjoy mutations via gene pool given to them by their god. They throw corpses in, and sometimes when they eat the soup, it causes them to mutate into abominations, which are like trolls, but goblin-like, and very tough.
I really like this.
I really like that.
You know, I feel like...
I love the like, fucking not kamikaze.
Well, they are kamikaze, that's...
Terrorist goblins.
I don't know if we're allowed to talk about these sorts of things on YouTube, but... Well,
yes.
Yeah, okay. I enjoy it too. What I like is, I feel like goblins always suffer. One thing that goes across all goblins, now, goblins I do find very universal, very great, you can do anything with them. The one thing that I find with all of them is their lack of leadership. Mm-hmm. And I find that, like, you know, if you get them on their own, they can be very, not cardly per se, but very
easy to manipulate.
Yeah, they can be. They can be, and without a very strong leader.
Yeah.
If you can unite a ton of goblins together, they are, I think, a force to be reckoned with. Yeah. But if they don't have that leadership behind them,
it would also be cool to have like infighting, kind of like if anybody played Shadow of Mordor.
Oh,
you know, like the infighting to get to be the boss.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the way I would view a lot of like, you know, let's be serious. Yeah. It's a very dog-eat-dog sort of.
They're small orcs, but.
Essentially,
they don't have.
They're a bit more crafty.
They don't have the anger behind them for blood.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I do think they've got the anger, but they lack something.
Strength.
Yeah,
basically.
I don't know. They're lacking definitely something where, I don't know, if you give them a bit of coordination, be like,
and
guys.
If there's enough of them, they'll mow you down.
Definitely.
Goblins in my setting have an appendix that gives them the power to barely succeed at almost anything.
My life.
Same, mate.
That sounds like, shit, we are goblins.
Instead of a failure chance, they roll consequence dice that determine how horrible the side effects of their action are, if the action is possible.
That sounds an awful lot like the dice mechanics for the Star Wars game Edge of the Empire. I really enjoyed that dice system. This sounds actually really cool. Let's just keep going.
Heart and / or brain surgery, you're gonna live. But the goblin accidentally left every single tool in the operating room inside you before closing you up. Rocket science, you get into space on a flaming, screaming metal death trap and back again. It explodes into a pile of scrap the exact instant you get out of it. Goblins, therefore, are great at doing things that are almost impossible, but not quite, with little to no training. As goblins can barely succeed at whatever they put their minds to, they all speak with horrible, unintelligible accents.
Like us?
Yeah, same! Making them hard for non-goblins to comprehend. And their thick, comical accents cover everything up.
Don't call me out like that, bro. What are you doing? Why are you being like this? I love this idea, though. What it sounds like to me is it reminds me an awful lot like a wild magic sorcerer chart. Like, you know, if you do any magic, then you also get side effects.
Yeah.
You know what? I might actually use this. I think this has got a lot of potential. I think we could work with something like this.
Small, weak, dumb, and all-around brutish. They're frequently used as pawns by others, who value them as easily manipulated fodder. Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
The Dark Elves in particular like to employ goblins as middlemen when dealing with human mafias. Exceptionally intelligent goblins recognise this, and they try to interject themselves into the greater goblinoid ecosystem ASAP. These so-called civilized goblins are frequently independently employed as bards, merchants, or artisans in accordance with their dispositions. Because of their reputation, they try to avoid becoming entangled with criminality. I
really like the idea of a goblin merchant.
Barback. Coming in with the barrels of fucking ale.
Yeah, I imagine like on a daily basis they get squished.
I just need to pay to keep a house over my head with the wife and 10 kids at home, man.
Oh, I'm gonna lose my job. I'm gonna
lose my job.
Oh no. Oh, that's brilliant. Meg, you need to play a goblin next time. I think you'd have a lot of fun playing a goblin. I do love the idea of a goblin merchant, but he's kind of useless at his job. Well,
he constantly shortchanges you as well. You're always at least like 5p short.
Or like, anything you buy off him may as well be like, it's like, okay, so it's decent quality, then you got like made in China, then you got made by goblins.
Yeah, it's like the Lucky man on holiday.
Oh, yeah.
And they sell you sunglasses at the beach and you put them on and fucking break it off.
Explain to the Americans, because like, so whenever, like, okay, everyone knows UK English people go on holiday to Spain, but explain to the Americans.
Yeah, so you go to Spain, let's say you're down the beach, you're having a wee cocktail, next minute a Lucky Lucky man comes.
But you see, things like, what the fuck's a Lucky Lucky man?
Well, we call them Lucky Lucky. They call themselves Lucky Lucky because they're like, Lucky, look what I have.
Yeah.
It's like a merchant. They actually look like one of the people you see in a game. You know, you have all these like wares on their back.
Yes.
They wear about 10 pairs of sunglasses on their face to try and sell you at least one.
Yeah.
Like 15 hats on their head.
Yeah.
They're like 15 metres tall.
They open their jacket.
They open their jacket and they have like watches, bubbles, fucking absolutely everything.
The weirdest thing is there's always about 50 of them knocking about, and they're all selling, but they're all selling the exact same shit.
Yeah.
Like they all get it from the same stuff.
Yeah. They sing to you and all. They make up wee rhymes and poems and all to you to get you to buy stuff, and it's like, please
stop
it.
So are Lucky Lucky men actually just goblins?
I can imagine
imagine
goblins to be like that, like have a big stall.
Oh yeah,
with all this
do you want to
really
see my wares?
Shit stuff.
Like it's like a magpie's nest of like a few shitty lighters, a few bottle caps. Like you want to see my wares? Come in, traveler.
Look.
It's fucking great.
Psst. Hey, lean in closer. This is fucking ASMR channel now. You know what's pretty fucking based? Titties. Go see titties. Lots of titties.
All the titties.
Go over to the website, check out all the models. You guys know the score. We have some really nice looking models over there. And we have a lot of
sci-fi gothic?
Yeah.
Let's call them sci-fi gothic.
And if models isn't your shit, we have loads of subclasses and we keep adding them every other week or so. We add a lot.
We got a lot.
Look, we've got big brains. We add shit. But yes, go over to the website, check out everything. If you haven't subscribed, what the fuck you doing? Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell as well, and let's get back to the video. Goblins themselves should be barely out of the Stone Age, only getting access to better equipment through parasitism. Fuck.
Thieving, that's what it means. It means thieving, right?
They take the gear off those they kill and try to maintain it to the best of their meagre ability, but are too short-lived and disconnected to develop a cultural understanding of such things. This reinforces their status as being the bottom bin chattel enemies. Yeah.
No, I don't know. I do have a thing for... I love the idea with goblins with rockets in a fantasy setting. I know it's cringe, guys. I know you guys are gonna...
I always imagine goblins with their weapons kind of like... Did any of you watch the movie The Borrowers?
Oh, fuck yeah.
And like coming out with shit like that.
Yeah.
That's what I imagine.
I love the idea everything's stolen, everything's really shit quality, but for some reason it just
like everything's
works.
Tied together with elastic bands.
Oh yeah, it's not going to last any length of time, but it's more... For me, I like the idea of, okay, say it is a more very much traditional fantasy setting, everyone knows their place, everyone knows what's going on. I want to give goblins just rockets or something like something, or even just explosives.
Oh,
because I feel
dynamite.
Like, yeah, well, they're the only ones mental enough, and they always kill themselves, and they're always hurting themselves with it, and they don't really understand how it works or what's going on.
Yeah,
and you know, it really does make sense because if you look at real world, like how we got gunpowder, we got it from what do you call it, Confucianism from the Chinese, and they were trying to develop like you know how to make gold and shit like that, and that makes sense for me for goblins trying to spend all that time like they would have been into that, like,
trying to make gold.
Well, yeah, like you know, it gets turned water into wine, all that type of stuff.
And then they find
like
gunpowder.
Yeah, and that's how I could see goblins in a fantasy setting being the least, even if they don't understand
think, like,
it.
If they had anything like that, it would be a 7 in 10 chance that they would blow themselves up.
Most definitely.
Like even if they had a gun, they made it themselves. It's a 7 in 10 chance that if they shoot it, it's going to come out the other end.
Yeah, and I love the idea of goblins. I don't think they should be able to understand exactly why it works. They just know they just know it makes big bang noise and have a like basic understanding.
Yeah,
if
big
you do
bang
this and this
people.
and you do this, then you can make that, and that's where you get the big bang from.
Yeah.
Maybe they could have a god and they worship this god where the god of the big... I can't call it the god of the Big Bang, but a god of the big kaboom. I don't know. Where it's their goal is to make the biggest explosive, like police
big
and
boom.
stuff. Yeah, maybe big boom. Then in the end of this fantasy setting, it literally is just goblins make nukes.
Yeah.
I think that could... maybe they don't make nukes, but I think gunpowder's definitely on the table for them.
Russia was able to make nukes.
Yeah, we'll speak no more about it.
Goblins are part of the goblinoids.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, really?
This is news to me.
A group of artificial races created by a sub-race of human. Dark sorcerers who almost managed to conquer the world. Other goblinoids are bugbears. Tall and hairy but absolutely sneaky. Built for a gorilla and sudden attacks. Hobgoblins. Disciplined and martial inclined warriors. Goblins were there for spying or being servants. Smart and nimble enough to be competent at what they were supposed to be doing. Subservient and meek enough so that they wouldn't rebel. When the dark sorcerers were exterminated, goblinoids were freed. Most of them ended up in slums, but some of them managed to get somewhere. A lot of goblins ended up in slums. They usually become your archetypal goblins in fantasy. Dirty, nasty, filthy, rude, thief that reproduces like rabbits, but dies quite quickly anyway. Some goblins, especially those who were close to servants of the sorcerers, or are descendants of those who were, are smarter than average and knew how to rise among the other races. They have a good way with their words and know how to appear meek when needed to get the guards of other people down easily. Those are merchant, lawyers, moneylenders. If you look seaward, a lot of goblins become sea rats. It may seem quite insulting, but when you get boarded by a pirate ship, you better watch out for the goblins who will sabotage your ship. Especially if you have powder. The worst goblins are probably those who kept or inherited the researches and magical knowledge of their masters and know how to use it. Goblin wizards usually go mad with power due to complete evolution from meek servant to powerful magical user. It's like giving a bully kid an AK-47. Goblins are my favourite races when they aren't just hot, short stacks or complete dumbfucks. My philosophy is to have an archetypal, stereotypical examples for each race, but have coherent versions of them within the same race.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it should be done.
Yeah.
Let's be serious. I'm not one for everything fits into the same box.
Yeah.
You know, I definitely am getting very Lord of the Rings vibes with, like, you know, oh yeah, these goblins weren't goblins once. These are twisted humans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same with Lord of the Rings, of course.
Yeah.
But you know, like, it works, and there's a reason why so many people copy from it, because it just works. And let's be serious, goblins at sea sound absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
I would not want to, like, see if I... Imagine a speedboat of goblins. A speedboat.
And all you hear out in the distance is...
Yeah, or you know what would be better? Goblins on, what do you call those things they drive in Florida? You know them, like, this thingy?
like the
hoverboat, or they got, like, big fans on them?
For the... Oh, what are they called?
You guys know what I'm on about, though, don't you? Where, like, you know...
They're for, like, the Everglades.
Yeah.
Not the big massive fan.
Can we have that? Or...
And just the Vice City soundtrack plays in the background.
No, you know what would be actually really fun? I would like to do, like, a barter town of sorts. Like, can we make, like, a Waterworld-y sort of, like, airship carrier of goblins? Like, maybe an island nation, but it's, like, a floating dump pile in the ocean.
On fire.
Yeah, but it's like a floating island nation, and it is mostly for goblins, but it is also meant for mostly piracy as well. It's more of like a hub than anything, but a lot of goblins do flock to the city and sort of becoming a star. You know, can you imagine the goblin burlesque shows?
Oh, fuck.
I can already hear the heavy bleeds like, yeah, and then they got big fat titties. Yeah. Like, I can already hear you guys. Let's just keep moving, will we, before...
Instead of Bangkok, it'd be Gobcock.
Gobcock, yes! Oh, we've already got a name, Bangkok, Gobcock, yeah. Welcome to Gobcock. Does this mean there's going to be goblin femboys? Oh, God, please, what has this turned out to? You know, this was more of like a funny meme at the start, and then like people go like on with it, and I was like, oh God, Jesus, what have we got or something? Like, let's just keep going, guys.
Goblins are cannibalistic. They can eat people and themselves, or others, without any biological repercussion. This causes immense civil unrest, except in places that have learned to establish symbiotic caste systems with them. It's impossible for goblins to integrate in places where their ways of life and rules that govern their strange behaviour isn't common knowledge.
See, that's what gets me. I can't even imagine goblins living in like a city. Like, imagine them living in like a human city, and they're like living in the slums of the underclass of society. They would just be exterminated because they would just be constantly thieving, constantly
it'd be like,
making a nuisance of
what's
themselves.
What's that movie with the aliens.
Well, oh yeah, District 9.
District 9.
That would actually,
That's actually what it would be like.
Yeah,
in
Goblins
9.
would be District 9, and I can go. Yeah, no, that's actually perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, can we replace District 9? What do they call them? Prawns.
Prawns. Yeah. Just gobs.
Gobs. Yeah. Fucking gobs. No, that's actually how it would work, and you would give them. What was it? Cat food? Was it?
Yeah. Why does it work so well?
I mean, it is perfect, but yeah, I just imagine. The idea of these two groups living side by side, they would just be grinding against each other constantly, and I imagine over time people would be like, they start off like, oh yeah, no, goblins are fine, and then everyone would be like, fuck goblins, we don't want their kind around here, you know what I mean? And eventually it would just get to the point of they would just be completely...
exterminated.
Yeah. Or they would just be beaten on sight. Yeah. You know? You can't, like, anything in your pockets? No way.
I have 3 varieties of goblins in my settings. Feral or cave goblin. Wild, tribal shits that launch raids from their primitive dwellings. Usually in dark groves or caves. Generally a nuisance to everyone. The low-level fodder that steal livestock. Old goblins. Much more advanced than their feral kin, but still tribal. Remnants from an evil wizard's army that were scattered generations ago and have resettled old ruins of towns. Actually a threat when they decide to do some organised raiding, but the tribes are usually too busy fighting each other for dominance. Civilised goblins, for lack of a better term.
As civilised as you can get.
Yeah. Traitors to the wizard emperor, who sided with the other rebelling humanoid races when they realised how short of a stick they were getting. Along with some orc and hobgoblin tribes. While the orcs chose to remain tribal, the goblins have integrated with the civilised races, but still maintain their own communities. They tend to get along best with humans, but also especially halflings.
Oh, okay, that's definitely not a shoe. I was like, let's just get the short stack races all together. We're going to have to make a district in the city, and they all have to live together. Why is that? Oh, easy access. Yeah, they all have to go here. Okay, guys, trust me, this is very important.
Who share their love of food, drink, and song, although they have some differences in common tastes. Goblins also much prefer living in close quarters with each other in urban areas, as opposed to the more rural halfling.
Yeah, I imagine them like living in cupboard, like you open a cupboard and there's like 10 of them. You close the door
eating fucking Cheez-Its from the back.
Actually, you know what? Is it possible for goblins to live off a sturdy diet of What's-Its?
Yes. Freed from their bonds to both the wizard that enslaved them and their goddess of chaos, the old tribes still follow. These goblins have a very life's too short kind of culture. They tend to throw themselves into whatever they find a passion for, as long as it holds their interest and they revel in the freedom to choose their own destiny.
Yeah, I like that. I think he's got a good variety going there. He's good variety. So I suppose we'll end it here. But let's talk about goblins. Like, you know, the thing is, like we've said this before, what I love about goblins is you can literally do anything with them. They're they're not like elves. Elves, you know what you're getting whenever someone introduces elves, or whenever you introduce even dwarves. The only other race that can even come close to goblins with this, like, you know, wacky, like, you know, you can go from one end of the spectrum to the other and people still get it, and it's not like weird or unusual, is humans.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like only humans are the only...
Because humans have...
Because we just look at ourselves.
Humans can have their own individualistic personalities, where I think, like, dwarves and elves...
They've got a pre-established...
Like pre-established personality and
you know what you're getting.
And morals and everything like that with...
But goblins are the same. Like, they do still have well-established myths and mythologies about them, but for some reason... you can just play with them a lot more.
I think because they can be very easily manipulated.
Yeah.
That's why they're so fun to play. Like, trying to manipulate a dwarf doesn't happen. Yeah. Or an elf doesn't happen. They're too stubborn.
Yeah. You know, one thing I kind of wish, or I really want, like, if I could wish, like, a fantasy creature into existence, I would love a goblin house pet, because I imagine
I'm sure an awful lot of other people would enjoy a goblin house pet.
I'm sure they've got their own reasons, but for me, I would love the idea of, I imagine them...
So basically Dobby.
Yeah, I want like, between Dobby and a Jack Russell mixed together. Can we make like an overexcited little dog like goblin that's just like really
Dobby
happy?
And the Jack Russell.
Can we just like blend them together?
Would you put a collar on it?
Yeah, and I would like bring it to the park, and I'd throw the ball.
Would you throw a ball, or would you throw a chicken wing?
Oh, I would have to give it a wee chicken wing, so I would. But I wanted to also speak extremely broken English, not very well. Like if a dog could speak, give it like a voice box. It's like food, good, ball. You know, I imagine it like
yes,
like very extremely broken English. That's what I want.
Happy.
Yes. Do you get what I'm going for? I think that would be so. Like honestly, it'd be hard to beat, and I think they would be
fucking hard to beat.
They'd be a really fun wee pet to have. Just saying. And of course, like, you know, I know you guys are in the comments like, yeah, I would just have mine for bleeding. But no. What would you go for? Like, you know, what's your, like, whenever you think goblins, what do you think?
I think, whenever I think goblins, I think kind of the one that you bring along with a party, and they're always the one that you shove into the vent to go. They're always the one that like get kicked in front of the guards to make an excuse, to make it a diversion while these all run.
So literally my character Gobby then?
Yeah. Basically, it's just it's something you can put in the way of danger without putting yourself into danger.
Yeah,
that's what I think of goblins.
They're almost like dedicated bait.
Yeah. You need a diversion? Yeah. Send a goblin out.
Or, you know what it kind of reminds me of? Is it Velma from Scooby-Doo? No. Which one is it that always gets used as bait?
Shaggy and Scooby?
Yeah. So, you know what? Shaggy and Scooby, that's a good... I think, like, you could rework them into goblins.
Yeah, you probably could. They're always hungry.
Yeah, I think it works. But, look, we could talk about this all day. You know what? We should do this as a live stream someday. Just sit and talk shit about goblins. Because I feel like I could just do it for hours on end.
Yeah.
And I always love to hear different interpretations or different ideas and how you guys work about them. The only type of goblin that I've never came across is like a high elf goblin parody. Like a very...
An elf would never lower themselves so much.
No, but like imagine like one that is in... I can see like a goblin like wearing like fine clothes and like, you know, being like, oh yeah, look at this. I imagine they would buy...
But I can only see them wearing that because I stole it.
No, I got this. I think what goblins would be like, they would be into all like high-end fashion, but they would never wash it and it'd be covered in like animal like oil stains and like grease, and it'd be like having like a big bloody scene.
They'd be walking about like fucking with everything so big on them. They'd be walking about like Boo from Monsters Inc. whenever she was in the wee costume, but with a crown on the head.
Yeah.
They'd be walking about like
like wee coins just falling out of the pockets. Yes. But like, honestly, we're going to head, because otherwise we're just going to keep talking about this shit. If you enjoyed this, check out the links down below. We have got new goblin models. They're more hobgoblins, but they work and they got big fat titties. Check them out.
Beast!
Yeah, exactly.
Do you need any more explanation? Check out the links down below. No. And while you're down there, hit subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get notified every time we post. And leave down below what way you play your goblins.
Yeah, like what do you do with them? Like what's the culture like? Are you, you know...
Yeah,
let us know.
Let us know down below, because I like reading about goblins anyway. Yeah. So yeah, but that's us.
And tell me, what do you want to do with a goblin? Like, what do you want?
Don't tell us.
No, don't tell us that. Like, we're gonna go, guys. See you later, right?
Bye.